welcome. I'm Darren Dull with the Edmonson Voice, and we're glad you're joining us for one of two video interviews with our 2018 Edmonson County Judge Executive candidates. We sent the same questions to each candidate in advance, and they graciously accepted our invitation to participate in these videos. Joining me now is Democratic candidate Mark Woosley, who currently serves as the District 6 Magistrate. Mark, thanks for joining us, buddy.
Thanks, Darren. Appreciate you inviting me.
Absolutely. We'll just get straight to it. So, you're looking to leave, obviously, your magistrate seat. You're looking to be elected as Judge Executive. So, let's talk about why you want to do that, why you're qualified to do that.
Okay, Darren. Well, as you can imagine, I've been asked many times over the last 12 months why I'm seeking that office. And I was asked 4 years ago why I was seeking the office of magistrate. I have been a lifelong resident of Edmonson County. Both of my parents were raised in Edmonson County. I have a love for Edmonson County. And when I decided to run for magistrate, I wanted to give back to the county that's given me so much. After I got into that, I seen a need that maybe I needed to do more to help the county. And I took the job as magistrate very seriously because I felt like even though I was 6th district magistrate, I was still working for each and every individual in the county. As for my qualifications, as we've said, I'm the current magistrate in the 6th district. So I know the ins and outs of how our county government works. I also have a Bachelor of Science degree in finance from Western Kentucky University. And I have owned my own business for 17 years. So I know how to run a business. So that's 3 things that I think qualify me very well to handle the job of Judge Executive.
Fair enough. Let's talk about the role of the Judge Executive itself. Now, obviously, you've been part of the fiscal court for the past 4 years, and as you just mentioned, you've seen the in and out of fiscal court, how county government works, but specifically, let's talk about the Judge Executive's job, and in your opinion, what is the most important part of that job?
Okay, well, as you can imagine, everything associated with the job is important, but there are a few things that stand out.
And there's many hats to wear,
yes,
obviously.
There is. Yes, there is. Well, you're an ambassador for the county. Whenever you're out at a conference or at a meeting, you're representing the county. So that's very important. As far as the daily duties of the job, if I was going to pick one thing that I thought was most important, it would be managing the taxpayers' dollars that the county takes in and making sure we maximize the benefit that the residents get from those tax dollars, because our residents are hardworking people, and I feel that as judge that should be my #1 concern, to make sure that we spend every penny of your tax dollars, my tax dollars, everybody's tax dollars wisely. And so that, to me, is probably the most important role of Judge Executive.
So you talked about, obviously, your experience as a magistrate. You've talked about being a business owner, living here, being raised here, that kind of thing. What's something about Mark Woosley people may not know?
Well, there's a couple of things that...
something you can say on camera.
Yeah, sure. But a couple of things that people probably will find unusual about me. Since I was raised on a farm, I don't drink coffee, and I don't drink iced tea.
Pretty interesting. I wouldn't have guessed either one. I almost had coffee out here instead of water, so it's a good thing. So,
yeah.
No coffee, no tea, no sweet tea, warm tea, green tea.
No green tea, sweet tea, warm, cold tea, nothing.
That's pretty funny. All right. Well, let's get back to maybe something a little bit more important or a little bit more serious. And we'll talk about issues that Edmonson County is facing. To you, what are the most important issues, whether it be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? What do you think should be priority here in Ebbesson County right now?
When I got these questions, I was thinking about, and there are a lot of issues, but I think there's 3 that really stand out to me. Now, should I be elected judge? And talking with the magistrates, there may be other issues that are brought before me that maybe I didn't even know about or think about. But my 3 big issues are economic development, increasing our revenue without increasing taxes, and managing the money that we have properly.
Okay, so you've listed 3 things. Kind of break down those 3.
Sure.
And let's maybe get into a little bit of the meat on what each one means.
Okay. Well, I've been posed the question a lot of times, why can't we get factories in Edmonson County? Why can't we be more like Bowling Green? Well, we may not want to be more like Bowling Green. We may not want to be like Warren County. But we do need to try to attract some businesses to our county. And I think one way we can do that is we're blessed in this county to have a national park. Now, some people may say that's a curse, but I'm going to look at the positive. I think that's a blessing because there's only so many national parks in the United States, and we have one here in Edmonson County, Kentucky. Along with that, we also have a state park. So I would think that would put us on a short list as to counties in the United States that have both a national park and a state park. Those 2 things draw a lot of people to our county. There are numbers that I've heard from Mammoth Cave. They have 600,000 plus visitors a year. Nolan Lake, you can go up there on the weekend, full of boats, and most of those people aren't locals. We need to focus a lot of our attention on getting those tourists to spend their money in Edmonson County. Businesses that cater to tourism, how can we get those? Well, as when I started my business, I took a risk. So you have to have people that are willing to take a risk, just like you, Darren. You started this, you took a risk. But if people see that the county, and we have a tourism commission, and I think they're doing a really good job now that they have some money to work with. They're willing to work with people to get tourists to come to Brownsville, come to the state park, and then we can expand on that, and that will spur maybe other people to open businesses, which would provide jobs for our children. As far as creating more revenue without raising taxes. We are, again, I'm going to say we're lucky that we're close to one of the larger cities in Kentucky, in Bowling Green. I'm down there every day. Hope not to be, should I win. Not going to be if I win, thank goodness. But there's a lot of people that are like me that may not like to fight that in-town traffic. Edmonson County is located 15 minutes from Bowling Green in some places. Our land values aren't as high as what Warren County's is. I think we need to work to try to entice people to come to Edmonson County and build a house and drive 15 minutes to work. Drive 10 minutes to the Trans Park out there to work. If we can do that, we can increase our tax base, thus increasing revenue and not have to raise taxes. Nobody wants to pay any more taxes than they have to. And taxes are a necessary evil, as we all know. I mean, how do we provide law enforcement, ambulance? So you have to have certain things. As for managing what we have, I probably wouldn't have got in this race had I thought our tax dollars were being managed wisely. And I'm going to give you an example of this. I'm sure everybody's seen it, about the audit that was published of our judge's office. Folks, we cannot waste money on audits. They're expensive. That money wasted comes from hard working, tax-paying citizens of Edmonson County, and that's money that's not going back to benefit those citizens. We cannot waste money on a lengthy, time-consuming, and costly audit. We just can't. It's unacceptable. So those are, to not make this interview take all day, those are three of the most important things that I think we need to work on.
So it's no secret that the county budget has been strained for several years. I've attended almost every fiscal court meeting myself over the past 4.5 years, a little bit more than that. Every time that that it seems like there's a need in the county, then the next question becomes, well, how are we going to pay for it? Because this budget's strapped, we've got to cut back here, we've got to cut back there. So you've already mentioned that obviously we've got to bring economic growth, and you'd like to see that happen without raising taxes. So let's talk about maybe what your ideas are for some realistic ways to bring financial growth to Ebbesson County.
Okay. Well, I think there's a few ways we could do that, and I've touched on some of them. Tourism. We have, whether people like it or not, we've got the Blue Hollow Off-Road 4-wheel park, where they drive the 4-wheelers and off-road vehicles. We have numerous bed and breakfast rental. People actually on the lake, there's some really nice houses on the lake. You can go on Airbnb and rent a house on the lake for the weekend. Got some horse riding stables. We need to try to help those individuals grow their business, and I'm not saying we need to give them money, but we need to, through our tourism committee, advertise for those, because the tourism committee has flyers. I think maybe you might even been the one that designed those for them, and I've seen them. They look really good, and they got a lot of good information on there. We also need to get ourselves in touch with Frankfort. Frankfort needs to know we're here. Frankfort needs to know what our needs are. I can promise you, I will be able to drive to Frankfort in my sleep if I'm elected. I'm not going to do that, but but I've been up there 2 or 3 times myself, and you have to go establish relationships with people. You have to have a good relationship with your state senator, your state representative, and even other state senators and state representatives, the Secretary of State. If they know who you are, then they're more likely to help you than if, someday you have a crisis and you make a phone call and we say, well, hey, we've never even heard, Judge Edmonson County? We've never even heard his name. So I think I can establish some relationships that will help us. You were there. We did get some discretionary money through the endeavors of one of our magistrates. He worked real hard on that, and I know in talking with Barron County's judge, they got $550,000 of discretionary money give to them out of the governor's office to do some blacktopping projects. Now, will we get that? Well, we may not. But if you don't go ask, then you're not going to get anything, because Frankfort doesn't make a habit. I don't know, as far as I know, as long as I've been magistrate, I haven't seen anybody from the governor's office show up with a checkbook and roll it out in fiscal court and ask us how much money we needed, okay? We've got to work. We've got to work, and I'm not afraid to work. I've worked hard all my life. One of my grandfather's favorite sayings was, a hard day's work never hurt anybody's son. I like to work, and I'll work hard for the people of Edmonson County. We also have the Industrial Authority, who's over the industrial park over at Park City. I want to work with them. I want to try to help them to entice people to locate a factory here. There again, there's an exit ramp off I-65 there, so accessibility is pretty easy. Close to Bowling Green, that they can outsource parts. But we have to work at it. We have to work at it, and I'm willing to do that. And I think now nothing's going to happen overnight, but I think with hard work and not giving up and not having a defeatist attitude, well, we can't do this, we can't do that. I'm not like that, Darren. I'm hard-headed. You can ask my wife. She'll confirm that. I've run my business. I've been told no a lot. I'm thick-skinned, okay? I'm willing to do whatever I need to do to help this county grow, because I have 2 older children that have left the county to find work. I've worked in Bowling Green all my life. Sure, I'd like to worked here, but the way things went, I couldn't. I'd like for our children to have the option to stay home and provide for their families if they want to do that. Now, we're never going to have an airport here, or we're never going to be like Bowling Green, and I don't think we want to be like Bowling Green. I don't think the residents of the county want. But I also think the residents of this county want for their children and grandchildren to have an opportunity to stay here if they wanted to. So it's going to take a lot of hard work, but I don't see any reason why we can't accomplish some of what I'm talking about here.
If you're elected, what changes are you looking to make first as Judge Executive? If I'm assuming, and that's if any, but I'm assuming you wouldn't be running for judge if you didn't feel like there were changes that need to be made.
Sure, Darren.
So if there's some changes that would be, what do you think would be some of those first ones?
I would like to see our county government more accessible. Okay? What do I mean by more accessible? Well, we have 2 night meetings, and that was something when I was running for magistrate that was on my ads. I wanted to push for night meetings. Well, we have 2. I don't think that's enough, because I know how it was when I was working. Most people work during the day. 9 o'clock in the morning meeting is hard to attend if you work. So we've got to work on that. We've had it brought up a few times to have more, but didn't pass. So, and there again, I myself can't change anything. That would be something fiscal court has to do, because basically, even though I can vote on every issue, as a judge, I am a tie-breaking vote. But I think we have some people that are open to that. Maybe some new person gets. Well, there'll definitely be a new person in my district. There's 2 people running. So and I've talked to both of them, and I don't think making fiscal court more accessible would be a problem with either one of them. So that's one thing we got to do. I think we need to hold people accountable. I think we need to, and by that I mean, if you're a magistrate, you shouldn't be in there just rubber stamping an idea of mine just because it's my idea. And I know you've been there when you've heard people say, well, it's whatever you think, Judge. I know you've heard that. I want the magistrates to think. I want the magistrates to interject. I want the citizens to feel free to come to my office and talk to me about an issue, and us maybe put it on the agenda for discussion. One idea might be a great idea, but if we have everybody working together with numerous ideas, and we can put together a combination of those ideas, I think that's the way you solve problems. It's not just one person's belief or direction. I'm not like that. It's fiscal court has to work together as a group, and talk about working together. I want to be able to work with every department in the county, and I feel that I can. Feel I've made some good relationships over the last 4 years. I want us as fiscal court to be able to work with the city of Brownsville. Now, anybody that's lived in Edmonson County for any amount of time, and I'm going to say 30, 40 years, know that there has been times when the city and county haven't got along. Okay. We can't have that. Now, we may not agree, but we can get along. And I think that's one reason we're kind of in this, I'm going to use this word, stagnant state, is because we haven't worked together. Because for whatever reason, whether it be petty or whether it be an actual, good reason for not working together, because there's two different forms of government. But I think we need to bridge that gap. I think we need to work together. And final thing is we got to be fiscally responsible. I know I've harped on this, but we can't waste what limited resources we have, because we don't. There's no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. I hate to break that to some people, but if you know where it is, let us know, and we'll spend it wisely. It's just, there's a lot of things, but there again, me and you may not agree on everything, but we can respect each other's opinion, and then on the next project we may agree and work on it. We haven't agreed on everything as fiscal court members, but I think the fiscal court we have now, I think we've worked well together, and I think we've accomplished a few things. We've got, for example, we've got new police cars for the sheriff's department. We've got 3 new salt trucks for the road department. Those things aren't cheap, but I think people understand, at least they see something they've got for their tax dollars. Okay, those things are things we use, and that's what your tax dollars are supposed to be. You're supposed to see the benefit of it. And one other thing I'm really proud of that we've done as fiscal court, and my opponent was instrumental in bringing this to us, and I applaud him for that, is the dedicating the county roads to fallen soldiers. I know you've been at both events. I've been at both events, and it's really touching, and I think we've started something really good here in Edmonson County, and I think it will take off and possibly go to other counties. So I like to give credit where credit's due, and my opponent was instrumental in bringing that to us, and I'm glad he did. And other than that, we have a road supervisor, and it's his job to man the road, and listen, you don't want me building a road, and I think we need to support, and our county road department does a good job. I'm not a law official. I'm not going to go tell the sheriff how to do his job. But if there's a problem, we're going to be able to sit down and talk about it and figure out how to solve it. And working with the other parks and rec. Last 4 years, we've done a lot to improve our parks, and I'm proud of that. But there's still a lot of things that can be done. It takes money, but I think we've got that headed in the right direction. So I'm not going to come in because number one, I can't. It would be an all fiscal court. I've heard you hear a lot of rumors out there. Sure. When you're on the campaign trail, Darren, and I've been told some stuff that's just totally outrageous, and it's stuff that I couldn't even do if I wanted to, without fiscal court's approval. So, if it's not broke, we don't need to fix it. But there's things we need to fix, and I've hit on those. So rather than going on lingering on this, let's move on.
Election Day's just around the corner, a couple weeks away. Yep. November 6th, Tuesday, November the 6th, general election. As we wrap up, Mark, what do you want Ebbesson County voters to remember when they go to the polls and they see Mark Woosley's name on the ballot?
Okay. Well, I want them to remember, number one, how honored I was to be elected magistrate. Never had been in the political atmosphere, not a politician. I'm an Edmonson Countyan. They were gracious. The people in my district were gracious enough to elect me magistrate, and I appreciate that. I really do. And I hate to give that job up. I really do, because just like in every district in this county, there's a lot of good people over there, and I enjoyed representing them, and I hope they thought I did a good job. I won't be complacent. I will start from day one working hard for this county, and I will work hard every day I'm in office, for however long that might be. You know, if I win, all I'm guaranteed is 4 years, so I'm not going to start 6 months before the next election working. We're going to work from day one. I'm going to treat everybody fairly. Like I said earlier, we're all Edmonson Countyans. To me, there's no Democrat, there's no Republican, there's no independent, there's no whatever. We're all Edmonson Countyans. We all live here. We go to church together. We see each other at ball games. I will work for each and every individual the same. One's no better than the other, and in my eyes, I was raised that way. That's the way my parents taught me. So that goes to this saying, you know, the state motto is united we stand, divided we fall. I think we need to heed that in this time of political divisiveness. We folks, we're not in Washington, D.C. We're here at home. We're talking about your county money that goes, your property taxes that the county spends back here. That's what we're worried about. I think I'm the best candidate to lead us and to get the most for those tax dollars. Darren, I'm qualified to do this job. Not a doubt in my mind I can do this job. But what I want people to know too, even though I'm qualified, I'm 100% committed to this job. This will be my job. And more importantly than that, I'm 100% committed to the people of Edmonson County, because that's who will elect me. And the beauty about an election is I don't know who voted for me and who didn't, unless you come up and tell me, well, I didn't vote for you. You know, that's the only way I know. I appreciate the people of the county that have opened their doors, invited me in to talk. Some of them I know is not going to vote for me, but that's okay. I'll still work for them too. Like I said, we're all in this together, and I feel that together we can do a lot better than what we have in the past, and I feel that together we will do a lot better than we can in the past. I want to give you props for taking your time to do this. You didn't have to, and I appreciate it. And, you know, on November the 6th, if the good people of Edmonson County can vote for me, I'd appreciate it. I really would. Thank you, Darren.
Well, you heard it right here directly from candidate Mark Woosley. That's going to wrap it up here for us. I'm Darren Doyle. For the Ebbesson Voice, please stay connected to Edmonson County's #1 source for local news and info, edmonsonvoice.com. Mark, thank you, buddy.
Appreciate it, Darren.
Appreciate you.
Have a good evening.
Yeah, you too.